honey is empty, so I'm going to use the empty jar as my coffee jar now, so I don't lose any of my honey. I do the same with my coffee when it's empty, so sometimes. I think this one is quite easy to get out. And it's hard to drink out of it, but with this one it's fine. The only bad thing is now the jar is really hot, so.
Hello, my wonderful, wonderful people, and welcome back. I am Isabel, or Isa, and whenever I'm not traveling, I turn into an artist. So this vlog will be about that part of me. I did not film anything when I was at home, but because I was traveling twice, I think that's okay, because you get a lot of travel footage. Now, I also want to do a monthly vlog in some way, shape or form. And I decided that this one will be purely about me trying to be an artist. So, yeah, I'm going to share with you a few things I got for my birthday and some things I got myself for my birthday. All of them are art related. And we're going to start a new sketchbook, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the sketchbook I bought before I started traveling. So yeah, you can look forward to that. So here we are. I hope the angle is okay for you, because I don't really have like an overhead way of filming things, so I have to do it this way. So yeah, but we have this camera and we have this camera, which might be nice, so I can switch between them. Now, we're going to start with this big boy. I bought this before I went to London because I decided I wanted to try to do bigger pieces, or at least bigger sketching, because normally I tend to do it quite small. I even have small papers I use a lot to do tiny sketches on. And I'm a little bit scared of working big, so I wanted to try it. And when I went to one of the art supply stores here in Hamburg, I found the Art Creation by Talents book, which is used by a lot of artists I've seen. And it was quite cheap in comparison to like the Moleskine one or the Leuchtturm one, so I decided I'd try it. And I'm quite happy with it. For the price, it's really good, and it can take a lot of different mediums. So yeah, I started it in November, and the first pieces I did while I was in London, and I mixed, I think the Winsor & Newton watercolor pens, which are these ones. And I used my Pentel crayons, which are also water soluble, so these are watercolor crayons. And I think I also had some of my Ohuhu markers with me, so yeah. So I really like this. I like the paper, I like how much it can take. Yeah. This is what I mean. I also wanted to do something where not every page has to be pretty, it's just for trying out things. So that's what this is. And I really like it. As you can tell, I have done a few things. I took it with me to Amsterdam, where I went over my birthday, which will come up soon in the vlogs. So yeah. And this is a good piece to show you the things I bought in Amsterdam, because I bought 2 art-related things in Amsterdam. One of them is the Conte à or Conte. I don't know. I never had French. Conte à Paris. This is soft crayons, soft pastels, and I also bought the everyone says Caran d'Ache, which sounds wrong to me because it should sound, I think it should sound more French, even though it's from Switzerland, so it could also be German, but the little d'Ache tells me it's probably French, but I have no clue how to say it. So I'm going to say it like everyone says it, which is Caran d'Ache, which is probably wrong, but I bought the neon color aquarelle pastels. So these are like crayons again, like the Pentel ones. The Pentel ones I bought in Tokyo, or more or less, no, most of them I bought not in Tokyo, I bought most of them in Kyoto, so they are Japanese. And I have not found any site that sells them here, so, which is kind of interesting. They look like this. But these ones, you can tell the difference between these ones and these ones. These ones are more, I think, for like students and hobby artists, and these could be more for professionals, because these feel so much better and so much more buttery, and the texture is so much nicer. As you can tell here, like the texture is way nicer than, I'm not quite sure. I think this one looks good, but I used a lot of crayons in this one. I'm going to say crayons, even though it's like pastels. But yeah, if you do like a swipe with the Pentel ones, you get like the more structure-y things, and with the Caran d'Ache, it seems to be a little bit more smooth. So yeah, those are a lot of fun, and these are the Caran d'Ache used wet. So if you're interested in that, this is them in wet. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this one and with the new art supplies. Even with the soft pastels, I can show you something. This one, for example. I did this one purely with the soft pastels. And I had soft pastels before, but those were so cheap that if you did anything on the paper and you wanted to get like rid of the excess and you blew on it, then whoop, the whole picture was gone. It did not hold onto anything. Really, it didn't hold onto, you could use any paper you wanted to use, it did not hold. So sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes higher quality art supplies are what you need to work with them, especially I think when it comes to things like this, because with soft pastels, if they're like the ones that I had, the really cheap ones, it's just dust, and it really, you can do whatever you want. Of course, it's here, if you do this, you will have some on your fingers, as you can tell here, but it's not all gone. With the cheap soft pastels, they were just gone. I was never able to like paint a picture and have it last. I would have to spray it with some fixing, and because I don't have fixing, I simply used like hairspray, which kind of worked, but when you're out and about, you don't want to walk around with fixative or fixing spray or even hairspray. So as I said, I really like this book, but it's quite huge, and it's also still a little bit intimidating, as if you have seen like a little bit of the last piece that I did in there, and I didn't fill the whole page. And I don't want to like leave a lot of page open, because I already just only use one side of the paper for when it's wet, or when I do things like with soft pastels, or even with the other pastels, with the oil pastels. if you close the book, then it transfers to the next page. So that's why I leave the other page empty. So yeah. But for my birthday, I had on my wish list a new Leuchtturm. I love these sketchbooks. So these are a bit more expensive than the art creation ones, and I will try different ones from this brand because I think they're great. But I really like the Leuchtturm ones. So this is not the normal notebook. This is the 120G, so 120G per meter squared. The paper is slightly thicker than normal notebook paper, but it's not as thick as the art books. So the art or the sketching books have even thicker paper. At least my old ones did. I'm not quite sure how about this one. I think they changed it a little bit, but I'm really looking forward to using this, and this might be easier to take with you, but compare, I mean, the biggest difference is probably, no, it's not only the size. This one is also quite a lot heavier, even though if you look at it, they're also almost the same like thickness, I'd say. So yeah, this one was quite heavy when I was carrying it around with me when I took it to all the galleries that I visited in Amsterdam, and then I never took it out and drew in the galleries because that just felt weird. And depending on which gallery we're talking about, they are quite full, so you don't really have like a spot to sit to paint. So yeah, if I want to carry one with me, I probably will now do it with this one. So yeah, I thought we could make it a little bit prettier and do like the first page, or like do some testing on the last pages to see how it takes different mediums. So yeah, we're going to do that. And if you appreciate my little placemat that I have, that was also part of my birthday presents. So yeah. Okay. I'm going to grab a few of my art supplies so we can test them, and I'm going to grab my stickers so we can make this one prettier. Okay, I got my stickers. We have the, let's see, we're going to use the soft pastels. These are the first ones I ever bought. And as far as I remember, I also bought them in Amsterdam, so nice, right? We're going to use, of course, the oil pastels. I need some of my markers. Then let's see. Oh, you can't see that. Oh, a little bit. Wait, let me see. A little bit. So we're gonna do a little test with my favorite gouache and my favorite watercolor, and of course we will need some, we're gonna need some microns. And yeah, that's mostly what I use, I think. Yeah. Oh, if you're wondering what my favorite watercolors are, I have put them in this little tin can. These ones are cheap ones. And these ones are the Korean ones. So it's like these. They're called Shinhan, right? Yeah, Shinhan. And there's Shinhan has different kinds, but these ones are like the real Korean ones. So Shinhan seems to be a Korean company, and These ones, as I found out, are also Shinhan, the touch color markers. But when it comes to watercolor, you have different ones. You have some that you can buy here without problem, which are the PVC ones, I think. And these ones are like the real Korean ones, and they are slightly different, I feel like, than our watercolors. They're a bit more... I'm not quite sure how to say it, but yeah, I love them. And they were quite cheap in Korea. They would be really expensive here. But yeah, so these ones are these pens. These pens, as I said, they're just cheap pens that I wanted to use to have a few more colors because I don't have any other tube watercolors, so I used the cheap ones for that. I also have like a bunch of different pen watercolors that I could use. These ones are Lucas. I also have Winsor and Newton, but I think we're going to stay with these, so we're going to stay with my favorite things. So we're going to start with some stickers. In this one, I realized there's only stickers I use for like journaling and K-pop stickers that came with albums, and I don't want to use those. But these have the pretty ones, the ones that I bought or that I got gifted by my friends who made them. So we're going to see which one we're going to use. I think this one will get the really pretty, these ones that I also bought in Japan. So I think we're going to use these. Oh, all of these? No, I think I'm going to use these on the big one. And the small one will get these ones. So with these ones we have the quokkas. We have the cute little birdies. I think I have seen one of these in the bird sanctuary on Hokkaido, but they're really tiny and they were really fluttery. So I think, I'm not quite sure. Should we use the quokka or the birdies? I think this is a quokka one. Yeah. They don't need a lot. This doesn't have to be full. It just has to be like a little bit to make it a bit more mine. I fell in love with this one. I want something here. Do I have like a tiny one? Maybe one of the faces? Yeah. Like this. Very cute. And I want to use this one. Here. Very, very cute. I like it. And maybe something for the back. Oh, I have one that's like this. That's perfect. As I said, I don't need a lot. I just want a few little tiny things. So yeah, perfect. Next, we're going to do the swatching. Okay, so the stickers are on it, so we're going to start the little bit of swatching. I'm not quite sure if I will do any of the work I want to do the next few days and the next few months in this one. But if you're interested, I want to try to do stickers for you, Frigga stickers. If you don't know who Frigga is, she's the little frog I sometimes draw when you follow the art account. I'm also trying to do some pins, so I can show you one of them here. So these are like the first tests, so these don't have like a pin yet and they have no resin or anything on them. And I'm not sure if I want to have them shiny with resin or if I want to leave them like that. I will test it out. But yeah, I want to make handmade pins for you that you can buy. I will try to do little paintings that you can buy. And of course, you will get to buy the handmade friendship bracelets for really cheap, because they're just like something to occupy my hands. And I have so many of them that, yeah, why not sell them, right? So yeah, wish me luck that I can do that. I'd probably start preparing everything up until like the end of February, and then I will start, because before it doesn't make a lot of sense, because I will be gone throughout the whole of February, so yeah. But that's fine, I think. So okay, let's start with the swatching. We're going to start simple. We're going to start with the soft pastels. Fine liners work fine, as I would have thought. I mean, this is mostly like a notebook, so I would be surprised if fine liners don't work. See, there's at least still a big splotch of color left, so that's always a good sign. And I think I need to get you a little bit closer to the action. Okay, now you're a little bit closer to the action. So yeah, soft pastels, no problem, at least the good ones. Now we're going to do the oil pastels, which probably won't be a problem as well, so we did green and blue here, so let's stay with green and blue for all of them, even if it's different greens and different blues. Then we're going to do this, and we're going to use a little bit of water. I also think that these ones like really nicely go from oil pastels to watercolor. Of course, anything that goes from one to the other, like the pencils, these ones, the markers, they're all not as nice as just using watercolor, but if you want to work in mixed medium, this is really nice. So yeah, really nice. And we're going to see how it looks when it's dry. And then we're going to see the back side. So next are the Pentel ones. These are more waxy than the Caran d'Ache ones, I feel. They're a bit harder to make into watercolor, I think. But yeah, still nice. The paper is like really smooth, so yeah, you can see it takes a little bit of water, but we'll see how the rest will work. Okay, next are the markers, and I decided to, just in case, use the plastic sheet from the Ohuhu markers. Yeah, it's the last page, so you can't really open it all the way. So we have to be a little bit more careful, but that's fine. So starting with the touch markers. If you've not seen them before, they're similar to a lot of the markers nowadays. They have a brush tip and a chisel tip. So this is my light green. This is my olive green. And let's do some blending. Okay, next are the Ohuhu markers, which should work similarly to the touch markers. These also have the brush nib and the chisel nib. I decided to get these ones because I like to use the chisel nib sometimes. You can also get a brush and a fine nib, or a fine nib and a chisel tip. And these are quite cheap in a bulk, but as far as I can tell, they're really good. So I like them a lot. I even like these more than I do the touch markers, and the touch markers are like €6 a piece. Because I feel like these ones are like way nicer if you blend them than these two were. So here you can see different colors, and with these two you can really blend them. So I really like them. But yeah, those are the markers, so let's see the back. Yeah, they bleed through. We knew this would happen. It's not marker paper, but I have this one from the Ohuhu markers, so we should be good. So I completely forgot a few of my favorite art supplies because they're now over there and no longer in my drawer. Because when you're on the go, I tend to not take, especially not my gouache. I don't take gouache with me when I'm on the go. I sometimes take the watercolor palette, but I mostly take like the soft pastels, the oil pastels, the watercolor markers from Winsor & Newton, Posca pens, and what I found in Korea, which is a German brand, but hey, is the Molotov One for All acrylic painters. So these ones are similar to these ones, so they're like almost the same, but because they're from different brands, they're also slightly different. So we're going to test these as well, because these are the things that are easier to take with you when you're on the go. Starting with the watercolor pens. So these are the Winsor & Newton watercolor markers. These also have a brush nib and a fine tip nib. And we can use this watercolor brush for this as well. Yeah, with the markers it's a little bit harder to get all of it into watercolor. I think the best ones for these are the Caran d'Ache ones, and of course the watercolor pencils. But I try not to take pencils with me anymore, because when you carry them with you a lot of times, they get shaken up and then the lead breaks inside of the pencil. So anytime you sharpen them, they will just break off. So I try not to take pencils with me anymore, because it's simply easier so they don't break off. But yeah, looks good. Next, the Molotov markers. I really love them. I'm so happy I found them. Even though the Poscas are great, I kind of prefer them. I feel like they don't rip up the paper as easy than the Posca ones. How does this paper like these pencils or pens? Yeah, you can already tell. I don't know if you can wait. So you can already tell that it's you can't really see it. So what happens with these kinds of pens is that the paper kind of gets loose, and then you have these little things sticking on your nibs, and this is not the nib getting bad, but it's simply paper stuck to the nib. So, but what is kind of nice is because these and these are acrylic paint, you can use them to paint anything. So these work better on things like cardboard. Well, you will have a lot stuck to this as well, but I also used them for the polymer clay things. So if you want to do like tiny things and you don't want to use a brush, which I'm not that good at, you can simply use the Molotov pens or the Posca pens. So that's quite nice. Okay, next up, Posca pens. Let's shake them up a little bit so they're good. What a beautiful page, all green and blues. Yeah, this pen isn't the best anymore. This is not, the paper's full. Yeah, you can tell here, if I just do a little bit of pumping, it like runs out. So yeah, I might need a new one of this color. So, okay, these all look beautiful. We're going to try my favorite watercolors now, and we're going to try a little bit of gouache in this, but then we're done. I hope you like this. So yeah, we're going to start with the watercolor. I think the difference between these watercolors and normal watercolors are these are a bit more opaque. And if you read up on them, I think that's what it said. The Korean watercolors are a bit more opaque than your classic watercolors. But this is also really helpful if you want to use traditional Korean paper, which is really, really thin. So you can't do a lot of layers on it. It's more used for ink. So you will use like ink, an ink or an ink wash to do your main painting, and to get it a little bit of color, you can then use these. And you can really tell that this is what it's made for. I do have one roll of original Korean paper, and I treasure it. I treasure it a lot. I should use it because I want to try it more, and I'm pretty sure I can get something similar here. But yeah, it's special. So please ignore whatever I wrote down here. Just don't look at it. We're just looking at the pretty colors. And I have still some of my gouache left on this palette. So this is a paper palette that I also bought a bunch of in Korea because they're really easy to use. And with gouache, because you can reactivate it, I just put it on this clipboard so I can simply reuse it. And especially for something like this, it's perfect because I don't want to squeeze out more of my good paint. I love this paint. So I'm just going to use the dried up gouache that's on here because it's similar. But yeah, this is, by the way, this is the and by the way, this is the Holbein gouache, which is not easy to get here in Germany, but there is a place in Berlin where you can buy these. So yeah, that's quite nice. So if you're ever wondering, there's, I think it's called Peter's Art Supplies. And it has a store, but it also has an online store. And there you can buy these. There you can also buy the Turner gouache, the acrylic gouache that a lot of people use. You know, this one. And also the Holbein acrylic gouache. But because I like that you can reactivate the normal gouache, I tend to work with this more. And as you can tell, I like my paint opaque. That's why I'm not that good with watercolor. So yeah, let's see. This will be an interesting green because my splotch of green here is like a mix of different kinds of greens. So now let's see the back. Yeah, and the water with gouache, it's, wait, let's get it over here. So yeah, let's see the back. You can tell here, of course, the markers are bleeding through. This is not marker paper, this is normal paper. This was bound to happen. The Posca pens also kind of bled through, like a little bit. But yeah, this was the one where I pressed on it and there came a lot of color came out. So it was supposed to kind of, we knew it would bleed through, right? And with everything that's wet, it just, of course it warps the paper. This is not watercolor paper, as I said, this is not marker paper, this is just for a sketchbook. But it takes it, it's fine, and it looks good. So yeah, I'm really happy. I think I'll mostly use it with these ones, Because as I said, nowadays when I travel, I like to take pens, I like to take pastels, oil pastels or soft pastels. I don't like to take pencils, and with these ones it's also like you have to have the brush pen, you have to have something to clean it with, or you use your clothes, which the dress I'm wearing right now is something that I like to use when I'm somewhere just cleaning my brushes. But this is just easier, and I mostly don't use the water solubles as water solubles. I just use them the way they are. But you could, and if you just use one pen, then it's kind of easy to do it. So yeah, I'm really happy with this one, and I hope you like the swatches. So yeah, I need to take a little break, and I think we will do one final piece in this one, but I'm not going to talk during that piece. So for now, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. And yeah, my other camera died, so I have to do it like this right now. So but at least I have pretty fingernails just for you. I hope you enjoy them. So yeah, until the next one, please stay healthy, and yeah, I'm going to leave you as always with a heartfelt bye.